Hey everybody, and welcome to the Fart Fetish Podcast once again. We've got another great episode for you today, but before we get to that, the Fart Fetish Podcast is available on fartfetishpodcast.com and almost all major podcast platforms. Look for new episodes on the first Friday of every month. You can also enjoy adult fart material and support the podcast at the same time by visiting thefartcloset.com. And that's it for the intro. I'd like to now welcome Amy to the podcast. Amy is a content creator on YouTube and OnlyFans who is focused on normalizing women's flatulence in both the lifestyle blog and adult content space. Amy is delightfully positive as we dig into topics like shame, intimacy, content moderation, and more on this episode of the Fart Fetish Podcast. Thanks very much for being here, Amy. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Well, I'm Amy. You may know me as Amy Farts. I'm 30 years old, and I'm a fart fetish content creator.
That's very cool. Like, what inspired you to want to start that Amy Farts YouTube channel, and what's your goal for the channel?
I mean, honestly, one day I was sitting there, like, just scrolling through TikTok, and I see this girl, she had posted this thing and said, I'm a fart accountant. And I was already kind of doing like OnlyFans and stuff like that at the time. And I thought to myself, a fart accountant? I'm sitting here farting all the time at home. Why not, make a video? Let's post it and let's see what happens. And then I posted it and it actually got a lot of reviews or a lot of like positive feedback. And that's what kickstarted me into this. And then a year later, I decided to get onto YouTube to continue going and let my online family get to know me a little bit better through longer videos and not just a 30-second clip on TikTok.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos, and essentially, I look at it as like a life vlog about you, but you're just free and kind of, normalizing the idea of women farting, women, having flatulence. What is that? It seems like that's an important, and I think it's written on your YouTube channel, like normalizing farting is something that's important to you. Like, why is it important to you, and what got you started?
So at first this was all just kind of a joke to me. And then as I progressed into it and more people started finding my page, and by people, I'm referring to like people I know, people from my hometown, people making fun of me, making jokes about me doing fart stuff on the internet. I'm like, if a man was on here doing this would be cool and funny. But the fact that I'm doing it, they act like it's gross or something. And I'm sick and tired of that stigma. I'm sick and tired of a woman being natural, passing gas, burping, etc., being a gross thing. So I want to get on there. I want to do it like, I want other women to feel comfortable. I have so many friends, and myself included, who we don't even feel comfortable farting in front of, like, say we just started dating a new guy. We're terrified to let a fart out. Like, and from my personal experiences, there's been times when I've been laying in bed next to like one of my new partners, and I'm not even sleeping because I'm holding in my gas because I don't want him to hear me farting.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy, and I've heard a few podcasts that have like talked about fart fetish, and you hear some of the guests, some of the hosts banter, and you get a sense that a few of them may be more comfortable with farting, whether they're their partner or they farting themselves, but some of them, even the men are responding like, I remember one is like, my girlfriend like goes to the bathroom to fart, and even that, like, even hearing her fart there is like too much. And I don't think he was like being like aggressively like mean about it, like, oh, I'm gonna leave her now that I know she farts, but just an odd like paradigm we accept for, like, we know it's a bodily function. Burping, farting, pissing, shitting, these are all things we do. Like, yeah, maybe they're not especially the shitting and pissing part, maybe they're not for public consumption perhaps, but I at the same time I think there is something to normalizing these aspects of humanity. It's who we are as people. And sure, there's a rudeness to like, oh, I'm farting in a restaurant or whatever, and especially if it smells bad or whatever. But at the same time, like, I think there's a lot we've lost, I think, in like this is my opinion, but we become like society or city people or whatever, we kind of lose the sense of what just being a human is, and taking in the air of life and just enjoying each day.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like there's so much, like, if you fart, it's okay. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed of it. And that story really resonated with me. I had this ex-boyfriend and we dated for about 2 years. And when we first started dating, everything was fine. And I finally got a little bit more comfortable. So I mean, I'd still be in the restroom, passing gas or whatever. But he says to me one day, he goes to me, Amy, when I first started dating you, I thought I was getting a lady, but all I hear is you in the bathroom. And he literally made the farting sounds too. And I was just like, really? And that stuck with me. And that's what scared me and made me hesitant, because I was already embarrassed to fart in front of a man in general. And that made it 3 times worse. And that's not fair. It's not fair that anybody, a man, woman, whoever, they, them, has to go through this and they can't be themselves. Like, let out your farts, let out your burps. Don't be shy. It's part of being a human being.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And something to be said about, like, even if they're like, if someone is policing you in the bathroom, like, that's even more extreme. Like, that's like, I don't know, that's too controlling in a weird, like, I expect you to be like this picturesque image of a person all the time, whether it be male or female. Like, it's an odd expectation that you can't do bathroom things in the bathroom. But yeah, that's not even the point. The point is more about normalization of these aspects that are really, really harmless and really, I think, I don't know. For some people, they're funny. Like, a lot of people come to the fetish, I think, the fart fetish as humor, especially in the gay community. You see, there's a lot of using the fetish or adopting the fetish as a sense of, like, male camaraderie, male bonding. And I think that's great as well. But it's a shame that normalization only, like, extends to males. So I definitely appreciate what you're doing. And I think it is super important. I share the importance of that mission.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I've been surprised at how much positive feedback I've gotten being online and being on YouTube and TikTok. I'm no longer on TikTok, but I get a lot of people commenting like, this is great. Thank you. Like, you made me smile, or, I've been so depressed, and watching these videos, they make me laugh. It gives me something to smile about, even just momentarily. And at first this was just silly stuff to me. But after seeing things like that, that's what gives me that fire to continue to grow this, to continue to produce this content. Deep down, I just love making people happy, and just, I don't know, seeing people just laughing. It's so beautiful to me.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad you do. I'm glad you can bring laughter into the world, because it is such a great thing, and such a joyous thing. And I think it's an important, middle. You're essentially normalizing farts in a way with women that is essentially, before this would just be pornography. And there's nothing wrong with pornography. There's nothing wrong with sex work or any of that kind of thing. That's not the point. My point is more like, you've offered something else. You've offered, like, an experience of seeing people love vlogs. So people get a look into your life, but it's not just a look into your life. It's also you could even call it a social movement in a way, while, essentially talking about your life and going about your daily routine. But at the same time, you get to be maybe a self that maybe people want to be, maybe people wish they could be, and hopefully in time people will be able to be more free as you are.
See, I love to hear that. And that, I haven't even thought of it like that, but that's a great perspective to have on it. Coming from someone who, to be honest, I still struggle with this. I'm still self-conscious about farting, even in public. Like when I'm in the public restroom at, like, Target, I'm still nervous about it. And I find myself trying to maneuver myself on the toilet so that you can't hear my farts. But throughout doing this, I become a lot more comfortable. I used to, as a child, I never even used public restrooms. Like it was my last resort. I didn't even use the restroom at school for until like junior high because I was so embarrassed just using the public restroom, just even going to take a pee in there, like let alone, you know, number two. So it's just like wild to me that now I'm able to do this. I'm in public and it helps me because I can sit there on the toilet and record a video of myself. And I know that I'm making a video for somebody like out there and it makes it easier, which makes me more comfortable, which is the funniest thing.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Do you have any theories why you're a little more comfortable around farting? Like obviously it's not the norm, despite it fact should perhaps be. What do you think made you want to embrace that side?
You know, that's a really good question. A lot of like the fart humor for me stems back to like my childhood. I grew up with boy cousins. We were always making fart jokes, poop and pee jokes all the time. We thought it was so funny to talk about diarrhea. And my grandpa, he would fart, he would walk up and down the hallways we just sat there laughing. It was just so hilarious to us. And as an adult, I still care, even though I'm 30 years old, I still carry over that humor. So it's in a weird way, I'm like, man, if 8-year-old Amy saw me now, like she would be laughing and living up. And so it's kind of like a childish thing to me, but it's like almost soothing my inner child, like doing this.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense too. It really speaks to the nurture idea of this fetish. But I do also think there's and you tell me based on your experience as well. I think there's also an inborn aspect too. Like I think growing up in a household like you describe, like I've described on the show, where my mom and dad were both kind of free with the bathroom. You know, it wasn't really a joke. It was just like, you know, they used the bathroom with the door open, they'd fart, and you know, it wasn't like a huge. It was it was basically normalized in my household. It wasn't like if I needed to fart, I would fart. That was the situation. But I think also there is an inborn aspect to people who become fetishists in this realm. I think there's like, I don't know if it's a gene or a chemical or something like that, but essentially that's inborn in some people. And then with having that nurturing, or for some people, if they discover it later, they found porn. I think it's that which moves it into a fetish. What do you feel about that?
So from my experiences talking to people in this community, they've come to me and they told me like the reasoning behind their fetish is, so a lot of the times it stems from when they were a kid. I had one man tell me, he's like, you know, I was younger. I believe he said he had a babysitter and she was so cute, you know, teenage girl, and she would fart. And he just found it so attractive. And he didn't realize it was a fetish till he got older. And what it was, and a lot of people have told me this part as well, what it is about the fetish that they like is that a woman is comfortable around them, or a person is comfortable around them to do something that can be so a taboo, something so nerve-wracking. But the fact that someone can actually sit there and do that around them makes them feel good that that person really likes them. Really, I don't know, just the safety.
Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. I attribute it to the taboo element. It's not quite the taboo. Like some people, I think, do like the aura of like, oh my God, this is something naughty and dirty, and people don't do this. But I think more it's the intimacy side of the taboo. It's I'm getting to know something that no one else will get to know. So in that sense, it is a taboo, but I've been let in on it because I'm close to you, or because, you know, you're my partner, or what have you, for whatever reason, or just by mistake. I've been let in on this taboo, such as the story you relay with that with the babysitter. That sounds like, it's more of like an accidental, like, oh, this is attractive, but it wasn't like necessarily a more intimate relationship where, like, as you know, some partners, you get to know your girlfriend, you get to know your boyfriend, they might fart around you. And if you're a fetishist who likes that intimacy element, that might be a way to get that. Although ideally you'd be talking about it and be able to express it. I mean, that's the reason for this show is to raise awareness, but also for the fetishists in the community to encourage them to want to talk to their partners about it, and the correct people in their life. Like now that I've done the show, I mean, I share it on my social media. Now pretty much everyone in my life is aware of it, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, my friends that are my friends, they've all remained my friends. So yeah, I think people are I think normalization is just important. It's important for everyone, whether you're a fetishist or not. But there is the aspect of normalizing women's flatulence as well, which is another important mission as well.
I agree, and I'm all about normalizing both. You know, I'm about being yourself and being comfortable and true to yourself. I've had so many people come to me. I mean, not so many, but a decent amount have come to me in the community and told me, nobody knows. You're the only one, Amy, that knows that I have this fetish. And you know, people have this weird idea in their head that people who like different fetishes, like something, you know, something in their book to be obscure, such as farts or like poop or peeing, they think that would be weird, but it's like, or like the person would be a weirdo or something. These people are normal human beings. Like there's professional athletes who come to me. There's business people. It's just like, these are average day people, you know, like, and what's wrong with liking this stuff? There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's amazing. It's cool. It's awesome that you're different, not even different, but that you have your own interests, you know, and you're not the same thing like as everyone else, you know, like, oh, I like a blonde girl. Okay, cool. But what else? You know, I just love it. I think it's so cool to be comfortable in your own skin. And that's why I encourage people to be able to feel safe with me, to come to me, and they can always tell me. And you know what? If I'm the only person that knows, I got your secret and I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's really great, because they need to know that they are not oddballs, or they're not weird, because I agree with you 100% that those are the aspects that make people interesting. And I think it's unfortunate that society, upbringing, what have you, seems to encourage people to kind of hide your beauty and your color, your uniqueness, in many ways, in terms of like trying to conform to a standard, whether it be for, you know, a corporate job or whatever. Like there's so much based on this whole like image of what we should be, when we should just be, you know, what we are. As long as we're not hurting people, we should just be what it feels right in our heart to be.
Amen to that. I couldn't agree more. Like you said, I really like that you said that, you know, as long as you're not hurting anyone, be true to you. And you know, I think that's a big message that I like to convey through what I'm doing too. Cause like, hell yeah, be you. You are freaking awesome. You know, don't be afraid. Don't let idiots get you down like, oh, that's weird. No, it's what I like and it's cool. Okay.
Nice. Very nice. Have you, not to take it in a dark direction, but have you had any issues with like unwanted or overt sexualization of your content? Because obviously, I wouldn't say your content is overtly sexual, but I think there is definitely a segment of fetishist who, like we talked about, who likes the intimacy, likes that girlfriend experience. Have you run into any problems with that, or has things been generally positive?
So a part of what I do is, you know, I do the online work too. You know, I mentioned that I have OnlyFans and I am on Dark Fans. So I'm okay with that aspect of it. And I I don't mind it and I make the content and it does not bother me. I very rarely will I run into somebody who's to the extent of being very inappropriate. I don't get that very often. Sometimes I get stuff and it's like annoying over and over again. Like I get a lot of messages like in my Twitter inbox of like dick pics and stuff like that. And that's unnecessary. I do not care. I do not need to see that. But you know, I haven't really run into any negative experiences, and the people who do request a custom are always they're very polite about it. And if I say, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that, they're like, I'm very sorry. I respect that. Dot, 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 dot.
Well, I'm super glad to hear that it's mostly been positive and just annoying otherwise for the most part. What I think is really cool about what you're doing on YouTube, I was going to say as opposed to OnlyFans, but that's not the right wording, is I think you've bridged an interesting gap between, well, essentially ideally adult content, mature content, and something that is consumable for all ages, essentially. And it is appropriate for all ages. I'm not saying you're doing anything inappropriate. I think what you're doing as normalizing women's flatulence is important for everyone at any age. Whereas, obviously OnlyFans has its mature audience. But I think that I guess I really just appreciate that bridge you've made between the two. Do you have any thoughts or comments on that?
I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for seeing the difference there, because at the end of the day, part of it is, adult content, sex work, but the other part is still having fun with it. And it still can be, like you said, for all audiences, you can sit there, and I love to make silly videos. I get requests to try to do a fart kick, where you're kicking and farting at doing a high kick and farting at the same time. And that's just silly and goofy. And, I would think to myself as a child, I would just sit there and laugh, and if it was me watching these videos, I'd be like, how funny that she's farting. That's cool. Like Amy's older, and she doesn't care. She's just herself. So maybe I can just be myself. And it doesn't even have to be with farting either. It can be with whatever the heck you want it to be with, just being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, for sure. I saw you had a farting Uber sketch.
Yeah, I love to do I recently did a newscaster. I just got this microphone, so it's really fun to do that stuff. And Uber, a babysitter, silly. It's just silly things, but it's fun. It's fun for everyone, for myself included.
That's really cool. And maybe this ties into my next question is, I noticed that some of your videos on YouTube are age restricted and some aren't, despite, pretty much the content is more or less all the same. Do you have any comments on that, or why that is, or if you have any ideas of why that's happening, or what do you think about that?
Honestly, I've been questioning that myself, because I'll make a video and it'll be totally fine. And then I'll make a similar video and then it'll be age restricted. And even videos it'll just be a video of me burping, just my face doing a burp. Or even I did one in the dark burping, and it wasn't suitable for all audiences. So that's what throws me off a little bit. I don't know what their criteria is or where they're coming out with that. But everything that I do post on there, I try to make it suitable for all audiences. So I don't know where the mix-up occurs or what they're basing it off of.
Yeah, for sure. It's always, content moderation is always a labyrinth of bureaucracy, I suppose. But yeah, it is odd. I agree with you, because it does seem so arbitrary between what gets pinged and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's very strange to me. And that's the same thing with TikTok. I've noticed a lot, certain videos will get flagged, and it's you'll see videos that are way more inappropriate that never get flagged. So it really just varies. But you can't let that get you down though. For anybody who wants to, make their own YouTube or online content, don't let that get you down. Just keep producing your stuff, just keep on going.
That's great. That's a great message. Yeah. Perseverance, especially in the space of YouTube, is very, very important, because it's a very competitive space. Do you find your audience is mostly fetishist, or do you think there's people that are just intrigued by the mission of normalizing women farts? Do you have a lot of women in your audience, for instance, as well?
That's great. Those questions are really good. Thank you for that, because I've noticed that the majority of my audience is male. I do have some females that come to me though, very rarely, and it's really cool because they're so instead of tearing you down, they're really uplifting. And I've even had some women message me and tell me that they want to get started as a fart accountant, quote unquote, and asking me for tips. So that's why in the past, I've done videos, how to get started, how to do your own channel, or start your online career, or whatever you want to call it, doing that. And I think that's cool. And it is mostly men, and that's fine by me. And, everyone is welcome. Most of my people, I say, vast majority are people who are interested in the fetish. And then I get a lot of people who just find it funny. And they're just there to laugh. And I think that's really cool too. I'm open to anyone, as long as you're enjoying it and you're bringing positivity, man, woman, like I said, anybody, come on down, let's laugh together.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You mentioned you're not a fetishist yourself, a fart fetishist yourself, but do you have any fetishes or kinks that you wouldn't mind sharing or you'd like to share here?
It's so funny because I never even knew all these things existed. You know, like growing up, you know of a foot fetish, like you've heard of that multiple times. I did not know that there's literally almost a fetish or kink, whatever you want to, I don't really know the difference, but like for almost anything. And I think that is so cool. So I'm still learning mine and I'm still exploring this. Like I said, I've only been doing this maybe like this might be my third year. Well, yeah, like second or third year of going into this community. But for me, like I said, I'm still learning, but I guess one of my kinks could be I learned what this was is a praise kink. And it's just where, you know, you love to get positive feedback from your partner or the person, whatever, whoever you're being intimate with. And I don't know, I just really like that. I love positive feedback and I love to just be told great things about myself. But I don't know. So far that's the only one I found, but I'm still looking into them.
That's great. I mean, I've not heard of a praise kink, but that sounds amazing. Perhaps you're goddess Amy instead. Perhaps you should just be worshipped.
Yes, exactly. I absolutely love that. And I love when my online family comes to me and they call me goddess or queen or even I love when you guys come in here and you're like Barbie. Like I just think it's so great. I don't know. I just love it. It just does it for me.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Have you run into, I guess, aside from the YouTube, have you run into any like controversies or problems trying to produce or release the content that you do?
To be honest, no, which I'm really, really grateful for. I'm very aware and, you know, now that I'm doing it more often and you know, of course I watch what I say and make sure everything is appropriate, and not offend anybody. But no, I've been very lucky. I haven't ran into anything.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm also glad to hear that. You seem to incorporate most of your most of the life that we see anyways in your videos. Do you have something you like to do when you're not working on videos or something that's kind of like personal to you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, so one thing that I really like about being able, like, after I started, you know, doing my online work, I was able to quit my job. You know, I was working in the medical field for a long time and I was able to quit my job and finally start living. You know, I love to travel. I'm sure you guys have seen on my YouTube that I spent a month living solo in the Dominican Republic. I love to get out and explore new things. I just moved to, you know, the Bay Area, San Francisco area, which has been a dream of mine since I was 15. And honestly, I do a lot. I explore, like I love to have a spontaneous adventure, but really, you know, my favorite thing to do, and it's so cheesy, I just love to hang out with my family and my friends and my loved ones. And that, even if it's just watching movies, like honestly, it just means the world to me. So
That's great. No, that's super awesome. Do you have an ultimate goal like in this industry or just for your life or both? Like what are you thinking?
you know, I have a lot of little goals, but like a big goal, like as far as like this industry is, I want to continue to grow my channel, to continue to grow my online presence and do more fun stuff. Like this is so cool. I love doing this podcast with you. Like I would love to do more things like this. And you know, overall, I just want to continue to make people laugh. I want to continue to really live a life that I love and do the things that I love. And as I mentioned, you know, doing my Amy Fart stuff has helped giving me that opportunity. And I don't know, I just want to enjoy life. That's all. Like it's so simple, but I just want to have fun.
No, that's awesome. That is. I think it can be that simple, and it's great that you just seem to have very a joyful and happy go lucky way about you, which is awesome. It's a great way, I think, to go through life. We're unfortunately, I'm out of questions. I'm gonna like start wrapping us up. But if there's anything you'd like to talk about, I'm completely open to it.
I mean, I just want to, you know, take this time to say, like, thank you for having me and thank you for watching my channel. And thank you to everybody who has supported me through this journey. And at first, I mentioned like it was difficult for me because I was very shy and scared to get on there and have an online presence and to have people that I know find my content. And I've gotten a lot of people, you know, from back home making fun of me, and like they send my videos to everyone else, and even dating and stuff. Like people have shown the guys that I'm dating, and you know, like they'll make like jokes like fart box or oh, look at her, why is she doing that? And you know what, like who cares? Just a message to everyone out there, It happens. It's going to happen. You know, don't let it get you down, and don't let people hold you back from your dreams, because at the end of the day, like, make yourself happy, you know? So please, for everyone who's scared to get started, just, it'll happen. You know, people will find your stuff, and that's okay. It's all right. Just keep doing you and keep doing what you want to do. Life is too short to worry about the little man who's behind the screen, you know, being stupid.
No, that's it. That's super. That's a great way to end on it, because yeah, the people in our life that understand us, the people in our life that come to us the way, you know, we want to be treated, and again, we treat them the same way. Like, those are the people that we want in our lives, not necessarily the people who maybe we had an idea of who they were, and then they, you know, essentially turn on us when they know a secret like this, or use information against us as if it's like should be shameful or whatever. And again, it's not hurting anyone, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. If this is something you like and something you want to pursue, there's no shame there.
Exactly. No shame in being who you are. And that's just like my big message to you guys. Like, just be you and love you and take care of yourself. You know, like, you guys are freaking awesome. I've come across so many of you, and you guys make my day too. Like, when I'm having a down day and I get on live and I talk to you guys, or I see your positive comments, like, that means the world to me. Like, I don't know, just, you guys are great. Keep being you. Like, don't worry about the others, you know?
That's so awesome, Amy. Where can people find you on social media? Shout out all your links.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. So lately, my two mains are obviously YouTube. So you can find me, Amy Farts Official. And then I'm also on Twitter right now, and that's Girls Who Fart One. So Girls Who Fart and then the number one.
Sweet. That's so awesome. Yeah, definitely. I would recommend anyone vaguely interested, whether you be fart fetish or not, check out Amy Farts, because it is so much. It's your personality and what you're doing is super important, and yeah, you're just a great person. And yeah, I'm really grateful for what you do, and definitely wish you the best, and hope you keep doing it and doing the great work that you do.
You're amazing. And thank you again so much for this wonderful opportunity. And it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Like, thank you so much.